Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES. Let's get to the news all right. Eagles fans, get ready, because today we're diving deep into some of the most intriguing developments surrounding our beloved team, especially when it comes to the tight end position, a spot that many fans have been paying close attention to during this offseason. And trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. The Eagles, as you well know, have been on a bit of a roller coaster ride when it comes to their tight end core over the past few seasons. They've had some ups, some downs, but overall, it's a position that's been somewhat under the microscope lately, especially considering how the team has approached it in recent years. Now, if we look back at the offseason, the message from the Eagles front office, led by the legendary Howie Roseman, has been quite clear. They're not exactly making a big splash in the tight end market. In fact, their approach has been pretty conservative, almost like they're saying, "We're good with what we have, at least for now." And that's interesting because, historically, the Eagles have been known for their aggressive moves, especially when it comes to bolstering key positions. But this time, it seems like they're taking a different route, perhaps a calculated one, that suggests they might not see tight end as a top priority right now. Let's start with Dallas Goedert, the team's longtime star tight end. Fans know him as a crucial piece of the offense, an elite pass catcher, a reliable blocker, and someone who's been a favorite target of Jalen Hurts. But even with all that talent, Goedert's durability has been a concern. Over the last 3 seasons, he's missed a total of 15 games, including a career-high 7 games missed in 2024 alone. That's significant. And it's a reminder that even the most talented players are not immune to injuries in the NFL, especially at a physically demanding position like tight end. What's fascinating is how the Eagles handled Goedert's contract situation this offseason. They were take it or leave it with him, essentially making it clear that they weren't willing to pay him top dollar without some concessions. He took a pay cut from $14 million to $10 million for 2025 to stay with the team, which indicates they're trying to manage their cap space smartly while also keeping their star tight end. But the fact remains, there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm from the Eagles front office to extend his contract significantly or to bring in a high-profile replacement. No blockbuster trades, no big free agent signings, just a modest 1-year deal for Harrison Bryant, which honestly doesn't exactly scream confidence. And here's where things get interesting. The Eagles have only drafted one tight end in the last 7 years, Grant Calcaterra, a 6th-round pick in 2022 who is currently serving as a backup. That's telling. It suggests that the team's management might see this position as one that can be adequately filled by lesser-known players, or by a combination of blocking tight ends and hybrid receivers. But we all know how unpredictable the NFL can be, especially with injuries and the need for reliable depth. So if the Eagles aren't heavily invested in the tight end position, does that mean they're looking elsewhere? Could they be planning to make a move during the season or even in the upcoming draft? Well, given their draft capital, an eye-popping 13 picks in the 2026 draft alone, they certainly have the resources to make a splash. And one name that's been floating around as a potential target is Darnell Washington, a tight end currently with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, for those of you who follow college football closely, you'll remember Washington as a massive human being, standing at 6'7" and weighing around 264 pounds. He's a physical specimen, a true behemoth with the kind of size and athleticism that NFL teams dream of. His 40-yard dash time at the NFL Scouting Combine was an impressive 4.64 seconds, which, for his size, is pretty remarkable. The Steelers drafted him in the 3rd round of the 2023 NFL Draft, and he's been gradually developing over his first 2 seasons, accumulating 26 receptions for 261 yards and a touchdown. He's played in all 34 regular season games and started 16 of them, so the experience is definitely there. But what makes Washington particularly intriguing for the Eagles is his potential to be a mismatch nightmare. With his size, speed, and athletic ability, he's the kind of tight end who can line up in various spots on the field, whether as a traditional inline blocker, a receiver in the seam, or even as a move tight end in the slot. Plus, his college career at Georgia was nothing short of outstanding. He was part of back-to-back college football playoff national championship teams in 2021 and 2022, winning 2 titles and showcasing his ability to perform on the biggest stage. Many Eagles fans might remember that he was involved in a memorable incident last season, a scuffle during a Week 15 game against the Steelers that made headlines. It started when Washington squared off with Darius Slay, and things escalated quickly, leading to a brawl that caught the attention of everyone watching. That incident, while seemingly minor at the time, actually highlighted Washington's fiery competitive nature, something that could fit well within the culture of the Eagles. They've always appreciated players who bring intensity and passion to the field, especially on defense and special teams. And with the Eagles' recent dominance on defense, especially with their aggressive, physical style, adding a player like Washington on offense could create a new dimension for their attacking playbook. Now, the Steelers made a strategic move recently by trading Washington to the Dolphins market, essentially replacing him in their depth chart with Jonnu Smith, acquired from the Dolphins. That means Washington is now potentially available, and for a team like the Eagles, who are always looking to improve and find value in the draft, this could be an excellent opportunity. A 7th-round pick might be enough to secure his services, and considering Washington's upside, that could be one of the best value picks of this draft season. Imagine the possibilities if the Eagles were to bring him in. He'd have a familiar environment, being a Georgia product. Many of his college teammates and the current Eagles defensemen, especially the ones from Georgia, would probably welcome him with open arms. His presence could also add a new layer of unpredictability to their offense, forcing defenses to account for his size and speed. Plus, having a young tight end with his physical tools and the experience of playing in big games could help the Eagles' offensive scheme evolve, making them even more dangerous as they push towards another deep playoff run. Of course, all of this speculation is based on the current market and the Eagles' draft strategy, but it's clear that they're not overly committed to their tight end group right now. Instead, they're showing patience, which could mean that they're waiting for the right opportunity, whether it's during the season or in the upcoming draft. That could give them a significant upgrade at a position that, while not the flashiest, is critically important for their success. This approach makes sense when you consider how well-rounded the Eagles already are. Their defense, led by the likes of Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, and the secondary anchored by Darius Slay and James Bradbury, has been among the best in the league. They've got a dynamic quarterback in Hurts, a versatile backfield, and an offensive line that's among the top in the NFL. But the tight end position, often overlooked, can be a game changer. Just look at what Travis Kelce, George Kittle, or Mark Andrews have meant for their teams, reliable targets who can swing the momentum with a crucial catch or a big block. So the Eagles are playing it smart. They're not rushing to make a splash, but they're keeping their eyes open for the right move. Whether that's drafting a promising talent like Washington or signing a veteran who can step in right away, the goal remains the same. Continue building a roster that's capable of competing at the highest level and making another Super Bowl push. And with the draft capital they have, combined with their talent evaluation prowess, it wouldn't be shocking to see them pull off a smart trade or pick that could pay dividends later. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about what this means for the team's overall strategy moving forward. The Eagles have shown incredible resilience, especially after winning their first Super Bowl in nearly 2 decades. They've managed to keep their core together, develop their young stars like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on defense, and maintain a high-powered offense led by Hurts, who's evolving into one of the league's top quarterbacks. But every championship-caliber team knows that depth is key, especially at positions where injuries are common and the season is long. And that's why the tight end position, despite being somewhat overlooked in recent months, could actually end up being a pivotal part of their plans. Adding a player like Washington, who is still only 23 years old, could give them a reliable weapon for years to come. His stature and athleticism make him a matchup nightmare for linebackers and safeties, and his experience in big games adds a level of composure that's invaluable in the postseason. With the NFL's increasingly complex defensive schemes, having a tight end who can line up in multiple spots, create mismatches, and serve as a big target for Hurts or even a big blocker in the running game would make the Eagles' offense even more diverse. Now, let's not forget how important the offensive line is, arguably the backbone of the team. The Eagles' front five is among the best in the league, and that unit will continue to be critical in protecting Hurts and opening lanes for the running game. With that solid foundation, adding a tight end like Washington could be the finishing touch that elevates their offensive attack to an even higher level. His ability to stretch the field and win contested catches could help take some pressure off the wide receivers, especially A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, who are already among the league's best at their positions. And speaking of Smith and Brown, their chemistry with Hurts has been phenomenal. The way Hurts has developed as a passer over the last couple of seasons is nothing short of remarkable. He's rapidly becoming one of the most complete quarterbacks in the league, capable of making plays with his arm and his legs. The Eagles' offense is versatile, flexible, and unpredictable traits that have served them well in their Super Bowl run and are essential if they want to stay at the top. But as any NFL fan knows, the league is all about fine margins. Small upgrades can make a big difference, especially late in the season and during the playoffs. That's why the potential addition of a player like Darnell Washington could be a game changer. It's not just about filling a roster spot. It's about adding a weapon who can change the way defenses scheme against you. Imagine lining up Washington in the red zone. His size alone makes him a nightmare for defenders, and his speed allows him to get open deep or in the intermediate routes. Now, I know some fans might be thinking, well, isn't this a bit of a gamble? And yes, it's true that bringing in a young player from another team always carries some risk. But in the NFL, smart teams take calculated risks all the time. Eagles have shown that they're not afraid to swing for the fences when the opportunity presents itself. And with their draft picks, cap space, and a culture that values smart, strategic moves, it's entirely plausible that they could pull off a trade that significantly improves their roster without giving up too much. Plus, adding a Georgia Bulldog like Washington would resonate with the Eagles' recent draft history. 6 defensive players from Georgia in the last 4 years, all on the defensive side of the ball. Bringing in a Georgia offensive player could create a synergy, a kind of Georgia connection that could boost team chemistry and morale. It's a small detail, but one that could matter when the games get intense and every little advantage counts. In conclusion, the Eagles are in a fascinating position right now. They're not overreacting to the offseason noise, but they're keeping their eyes open for opportunities to improve. Whether it's through the draft, a trade, or both, they're building a roster designed to contend for another Super Bowl. Their strategy appears to be one of patience that could pay off big time if they land the right player, like Darnell Washington or another emerging talent, that can fit seamlessly into their system and elevate their game. So, Eagles fans, keep your eyes peeled. The offseason is far from over, and the best is yet to come. The team is always looking to get better, and with their draft capital and strategic mindset, they could surprise us all once again. The NFC East is shaping up to be incredibly competitive this year, but if the Eagles continue on this path, they might just be the team to beat once more. The future looks bright, and the road to another Super Bowl is still very much within reach. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and the best is yet to come for Philadelphia Eagles fans. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Philadelphia Eagles news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you believe the Eagles should pursue a player like Darnell Washington? Or do you think they should stick with their current tight end group and focus on other areas of the team? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Philadelphia Eagles. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates and analysis, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. The journey to another Super Bowl is ongoing, and every piece of the puzzle counts. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, fly Eagles fly.